Right, a very good evening to you and welcome to KUTV Primetime News. Thank you for choosing us. Now, the political season is today a lot. There's a lot that has happened. Stay with us for all that. Right, thank you for joining us. Vivian Ongeshi is on Matters Sign Language Interpretation. My name is Stanley Nyaringita. Now to our first story and to our main story of the bulletin. President Uhuru Kenyatta has today officially endorsed Raila Odinga as his preferred candidate for the forthcoming general elections. Uhuru made the bold utterances saying he wanted no part in divisive politics and that all he had done was based on truth and for the sake of peace. Listen.
The much-anticipated Sagana meeting finally culminated in Nyeri, with many hoping that the president will follow suit of the verbal fight that has been going on in the country on campaign fronts. All these attributed to speculations that the president's support was accorded ODM leader Raila Odinga.
Unajua kuna wengine walikuwa wanasema mimi nimekuja hapa kutusi watu. Matusi mimi niliwaambia nimezeeka sasa, sina matusi ya mtu.
To clear the air, President Kenyatta officially endorsed Raila as his preferred presidential candidate for the August polls, calling on his community to back Raila's bid, saying he has the best interest for the country. During the meeting, the president urged people of the Mount to choose their next leader based on the truth and not lies, and it is on the same breath that he emphasized his grounds as a leader who is not swayed by political storms in his service to the nation.
Male ambaye tukienda Nyanza nitarudia bila kuogopa, kwa sababu mimi najua ni ya ukweli na ni ya haki. Mimi sina haja ya kuingilia hawa na wale wengine na wale wengine. Yangu ni kusema tu nataka tuchambue haki na uongo. Hiyo tu.
In an apparent reference to Deputy President William Ruto, Uhuru said he will have no problems supporting him in the future if he reforms, hinting out support again on Odinga, saying all he wanted for the nation was unity and peace, an agenda that is serving hot on the Azimio la Umoja coalition plate.
Mimi nilisema ya kwamba mimi haja yangu ni umoja ya Wakenya. Wakenya waishi na amani. Na amani kwa sababu gani? Amani kwa sababu hakuna maendeleo bila amani. Tunaelewana wenzangu?
The president has set the ball rolling on the Mount, with expectation building on how much it's going to gather for Jubilee Party and the Azimio la Umoja coalition. Still, the ballot awaits. Bentura Kumbuka, KUTV.
Right, thank you for that, Bentura Kumbuka. And let's still stay with the political gears. The Kenya Kwanza Alliance, led by Deputy President Dr. William Ruto, has today poured cold water at Sagana 3 declaration, directing their focus on Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga, accusing him of rocking the Jubilee government. Speaking in a rally in Makueni County, the alliance insists that the problems in the current government resulted from the handshake between President Uhuru and Mr. Odinga. Our reporter Henry Tende with more.
With the Sagana 3 declaration chaired by President Uhuru Kenyatta dominating the political discourse for the better part of this week, all eyes were on the Kenya Kwanza rally in Makueni, with a keen interest on how the leaders here would react to the president-led meeting. But in a surprise move, the deputy president camp focused the attention on Mr. Odinga, accusing him of hiding behind the president and riding on Jubilee government development record.
Huyu mzee wa kitendawili unajua ameenda kujificha nyuma ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Sasa anafanya nini nyuma ya Uhuru Kenyatta? Awachane na Uhuru Kenyatta. Hajawahi kumpigia kura Uhuru Kenyatta. Awachane naye. Kwanza ametuletea hasara nyingi. Amesambaratisha serikali yetu, ameharibu chama yetu ya Jubilee, amesambaratisha mpango yetu ya Big Four. Alafu saa hizi anataka kumharibia rais heshima.
DP Ruto says Mr. Odinga cannot talk of advancing devolution and fighting corruption, alleging that the opposition leader has been protecting those implicated in the vice.
Kama kuna mtu mwenye anahatarisha devolution ni hiyo mzee ya kitendawili, kwa sababu yeye ndiye anarokota pesa kwa wezi wa wale wameiba kutoka counties. Yeye ndiye anatafuta pesa kutoka ma-counties ile imeibiwa ndiye atumie kufanya campaign.
The Kenya Kwanza team asked the One Kenya Alliance leader Kalonzo Musyoka to join them, saying their interest will be best addressed in the Kenya Kwanza Alliance.
Sikia Kalonzo juzi akisema atakuwa mjinga ya mwisho ageendelea kusukuma hiyo mtu tena.
Mimi naomba tu ndugu yetu Kalonzo, ndugu yetu mkubwa, ndugu, ulibeba huu mzigo, ulibeba. Hawa jamaa wasikuzungushe tena wakuambie urudi kubeba kitandawili. Jameni, ndugu Kalonzo, Mungu akusaidie tuondoke huko.
As the August polls day draw nearer, tensions in the murky political waters continue to increase, with contenders strategizing to oust their opponents. The deputy president has promised to see to completion major projects in the Ukambani region, including connecting electricity, building roads, among other projects. Henry Tende, KUTV.
Thank you, Tende, for that. And moving on, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has met a delegation of Kalenjin leaders from South Rift in Nairobi today. Odinga promised to champion the lowering of fertilizer prices as a way of promoting agriculture in the country. The ODM chief says that he has engaged the president on the issue and is waiting for positive response soon. He has also promised to establish manufacturing industries to provide employment opportunities for the young people once elected president. Moving on, the Elections Act Amendment Bill 2021 was today presented to the Senate for discussion at the committee stage. The bill proposed by Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen seeks to scrap the university degree for requirement for anyone eyeing a parliamentary post, according to the current Elections Act. Murkomen argues that a diploma or other post-secondary school qualification holders to be allowed to run for office. If the bill is approved by the Senate, the bill will be delivered to the National Assembly for legislative processing. Meanwhile, the National Assembly has kicked off hearing of the Public Debt Management Authority Bill 2020, which seeks to establish an independent state agency to review the purposes for all borrowing proposals floated by the National Treasury and advise the National Assembly on the feasibility of the loans.
Children's Amendment Bill, Bill number 46 of 2020.
In consonance with what the members are proposing in the House here, I am proposing that the qualification be moved up to basic education, which is a Form 4 certificate or a secondary certificate if it was in the old system. And then you must have a certificate on top of it, which is at least acquired after undergoing at least a study of 3 months of study in a recognized institution.
Mr. Speaker, again, something I want to clarify is that there is nothing wrong with two things. One, there is nothing wrong with the debt ceiling. Debt ceiling is a provision, is an indicator that we should borrow up to this much. You can even put it at 20 trillion. There is nothing wrong with that. Who says if you put it at 20 trillion, you have to borrow up to 20 trillion?
President Kenyatta has given Marsabit leaders a 2-week ultimatum to come up with a lasting solution to the communal conflicts that have bedeviled the region. Uhuru warned that the government will be forced to deploy security agencies to forcefully end insecurities if they come up with a solution.
The head of state, while speaking at State House Nairobi, tasked Marsabit leaders to resolve the long-standing conflicts in their region. He emphasized on the need to change their approach and work together to promote unity instead of fueling conflicts among residents. While hosting a delegation of leaders from Marsabit, Isiolo and Tana River counties.
So make peace instead of focusing on war and petty tribal clashes. Focus on how you will uplift the lives of the people of Marsabit County. How will you build roads for the people of Marsabit County?
The Commander-in-Chief challenged Marsabit leaders to work together with a view of building a strong, stable country without allowing political competition to undermine peace and security in the specific regions ahead of the August polls.
Na tukubaliane kwa sababu mmekuja hapa kama jamii moja, si ni kweli? Mutafute pia wazee wa Tana River, mutafute wazee wa Isiolo, wakae pamoja na nyinyi muweze kulete suluhu ambaye itakuwa ya maana.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i assured the leaders that the government would review police deployment in the northeastern region to tackle security challenges.
Mheshimiwa Rais, you instructed me yesterday in anticipation of this meeting. I communicated with the security teams in the field, and you instructed me to create 6 new sub-counties in these areas.
The northeastern region of Kenya has been a bedrock of conflict over the past years. The head of state has given an ultimatum to the leaders to restore peace in the region, failure to which state machinery will be deployed to forcefully instill peace. Seth Wasike, KUTV, Nairobi.
A police officer is in custody for shooting and killing his colleague before injuring his senior at Meru's Mutuati police station. The suspect, Constable Abel Chumba, a GSU officer, fatally shot his counterpart, Pontius Ikumoli, on the left eye and on the left hand near the elbow before turning the gun on the inspector in charge of the camp and fled from the scene at around 9 p.m. yesterday under mysterious circumstances. The body of the deceased officer was taken to Nyambene Sub-County Hospital mortuary awaiting post-mortem, while the injured officer is currently receiving treatment at the Methodist Maua Hospital. Cases of police turning the gun on their fellow officers and committing suicide have been on the rise in the country, the latest one being that of a 29-year-old cop attached to Migori Police Station who committed suicide after killing his wife in Suna East Sub-County. Right, you're watching KUTV Primetime News. We are due our first short break right here. Don't go too far.
KUTV, in conjunction with Kenyatta University Funeral Home, is now offering death announcements immediately following our news bulletins at 7 p.m. At this sorrowful time, as you share in your grief, allow us to communicate your announcement of your loved one on KUTV in both Kiswahili and English. For more details, kindly inquire at the KU Funeral Home Service Desk or call 0736 928 380 or dial 020-359-9054.
Karibu kwenye mitindo ya kipwani.
Nguo yangu wasenesi magire mtuzeha sana nenda finira chechemekwe. Nguo yangu wasenesi.
Yaani unavyoona basi niko kipwani pwani tu.
Wali unapopika inatakana uko half cooked.
Bageri. Niko katika kaunti ya Kilifi, Magavazi ya Gede.
Stream live mitindo ya kipwani on our KUTV Facebook page every Saturday 4 p.m.
This week on Focus on Health, we take you through a cancer series. In our previous episodes, we've already demystified cancer generally and breast cancer, and today we focus on prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer is basically a malignant or cancerous tumor that affects the prostate. So we'll advise men from age 50 and above, start going for regular screening. See your doctor, see your physician, see your urologist if you have one. He can do the digital rectal examination and request for a PSA, so that if the disease is found early, it can be cured.
Well, some 14 minutes past the top of the hour, you're watching KUTV Primetime News. Keep talking to us at KUTV Kenya. That's on Facebook, KUTV and KUTV Kenya, and KUTV_Kenya on Twitter. Let's go to the COVID numbers now. A total of 45 people have tested positive for coronavirus from a sample size of 5,523 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate now stands at 0.8%. The total confirmed positive cases have now shot to 322,781, with cumulative tests done so far totaling to 3,346,571. 37 people have recovered, bringing the total recoveries to 144, I beg your pardon. No deaths have been reported, and the total fatalities remains at 5,638. On matters vaccination, 16,298,878 people have been vaccinated so far. Out of this, 7,706,586 are partially vaccinated, while 7,423,108 are fully vaccinated. In a quest to help farmers improve their farming, 2,850 farmers have been enrolled in a training program on sustainable poultry keeping practices. The program will also inculcate formulation of feeds using locally available materials to boost earnings in subsector. Snyder Chege has the details.
The joint venture between the county government of Nakuru and the National Agricultural and Rural Inclusive Growth Project Nyaringita has facilitated the poultry farmers within the devolved unit with affordable agricultural inputs, improved high yielding and disease-tolerant chicken breed. The partnership will also see the small-scale farmers benefit from the financial trainings and market linkages.
The project development objective of NARIC is to increase agricultural productivity and profitability of the selected farmers in Nakuru County. In Nakuru County, we have funded a total of 212 poultry CIG groups to a tune of 83.5 million. In Molo sub-county, we have funded 52 groups. In these 52 groups, we have funded to a tune of 25 million.
Equity Bank is partnering with the program to equip the farmers with skills on online marketing opportunities and other financial skills.
On budgeting, whatever they get from their farms, we make sure that they know how to budget for them so that they can account for whatever they have earned. And apart from budgeting, we do train also on savings.
The Directorate of Agriculture in Nakuru noted that most of the farmers were held back from the meaningful farming due to lack of proper training and enough capital. Through the Upendo Imara self-help group feed processors, beneficiaries have shown their satisfaction, terming the venture beneficial, considering the rising cost of animal feeds since last year, which was driven by the high cost of raw materials.
Na maturity level yake zinafika haraka na zikikuwa na good weight. Na pia magonjwa huwa hazipati magonjwa sana. Juu tunajua kila kitu kilisha kulingana na Kenya unaipatia ndio matokeo yako itakuwa. So chakula chetu ni kama hata kinafanya zikuwe resistant to diseases. Halafu their health inakuwa mzuri sana.
The Nyaringita program in partnership with the national government and the World Bank seeks to increase agricultural productivity and profitability, leading to improved livelihoods and reduce vulnerability of targeted rural communities in the country. For KUTV, I am Snyder Chege.
Prestige Academy in Subuki, Nakuru County, is now a safe sanctuary to over 40 teenage mothers. The institution opened its doors to cater for their education and provide a home-based care for their babies as they attend classes.
Nakuru County is ranked third alongside Nairobi and Kakamega counties in leading cases of teenage pregnancies countrywide. A group of women within Subukia, Nakuru County, have taken up the task to provide a safe haven for teen mothers in order to continue with their education where they feel embraced and accepted.
Being rejected by our parents, we lost some of our friends, but all in all, God is so faithful. The Subukia Prestige Teen Mothers School came at the right time, where we were given a second chance to better our lives, to better our future. We are aspiring to be great leaders, great women in future.
Parents are now urged to play their parental responsibility with the hope of changing the narrative and giving teen mothers another shot at making a future out of the initiative.
Shule tulianzisha kama wamama wakati tuliangalia msichana mwenye alizaa wakiwa primary, mwingine akazaa akiwa secondary, akakosa mwelekeo. Mzazi akamkataa, mwenye kumpea mimba pia akamkataa, msichana akakosa maisha. Tukakaa chini kama wamama, tukasema lazima tuanzishe hii mradi, ndiposa tusaidie msichana ndio apate kuendelesha maisha.
The level of dropout has been largely attributed to fear of stigmatization and ridicule from other learners, which lead to absconding their studies. The learners have now welcomed the initiative that has given them hope to advance their studies.
Tuangalia wasichana Kenya mzima wamezaa, hata rate ya wasichana wenye wamezaa iko nyingi kuliko wenye hawana watoto. Kwa domu yetu vitanda ni kidogo, classes pia ni kidogo. Tunaomba well wishers, kama hii penye huko itakuguza, utusaidie. Hata wasichana wetu tunaweza kuwapea uniform, blouse na skirt, kiatu hatuna. Vitanda ni kidogo, ndipo sana narudisha wengi juu hatujajiweza vile. Kwa hivyo naomba serikali itusaidie. Makanisa mkiona hii ujumbe pia mtusaidie tuweze kusomesha huyu msichana.
The backdrop of school closures, economic challenges occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic exposed a number of girls to teenage pregnancies and early marriages. Now, a candle of hope is lit for the mothers as they have an institution that embraces and encourages them to complete their studies. Bentura Kwamboka, KUTV.
Right, that particular report by Bentura Kumboka takes us to a second short break. We'll be coming back with sports news.
This couple met in diaspora. They fell in love and had a child. They decided to move back home and make things official. Now, here is the bombshell. They found out that they were related. Wow. With Orbital Global, you can save yourself the embarrassment.
How well do you know your family lineage? Your cousins, uncles, aunties, nephews, nieces? Orbital is here for you. Visit www.orbitalglobal.com. Orbital Global, connecting families, uniting nations.
I am at Power Governors Limited to talk about governors that have power.
When the new speed governors were introduced, this country did not have a standard. They would put in a tamper switch so that the speed governor will only operate well when there is likelihood of being caught by police.
So when we give a solution to our customers, we'll be giving them the speed limiter, the tracking they can be able to monitor, also fuel management.
What you see here, this is the fuel level sensor. It is what is used to detect the level of fuel that is in your tank.
Right, thank you for staying with us. Time for sports news. And May Oledapash has urged the Sports Ministry to consider recruiting talented young people in local areas. Ole Dapash decried that the football governing body in the country had centered its focus in urban areas more rather than in rural areas. The Narok senatorial hopeful was speaking during the Dapash Cup, where Sekinani Homeboys beat Mara Eagle 1-0 courtesy of Tom Jedida on the 70th minute.
Mimi ninaona KFF has become an urban institution ambayo ina deal na watu wanaishi kwenye miji za town, mahali kuna stadiums, mahali kuna watu ambao wanajulikana, mahali ambao kuna matajiri, watu wale ambao wako na talanta kama hapa rural kabisa, rural Masailand, hata mali zingine tu sio Masailand peke yake, hawana nafasi. They don't have a chance for becoming good players, for making to the national teams.
Marathon legend Eliud Kipchoge today led a galaxy of Kenyan stars to Japan ahead of the Tokyo Marathon set for March 6th. A total of 128 elite men athletes are expected to grace the race, with majority being Japanese athletes. While the women's race will see 37 athletes compete. Kipchoge, who has a personal best time of 2 hours, 1 minute and 39 seconds, his training mates Jonathan Korir and Laban Korir and world bronze medalist in marathon Amos Kipruto will be in the star list. Other Kenyans are Simon Kariuki, Michael Githai, Daniel Muive and debutant Nicholas Kosimbei. Well, and finally, also in sports, Manchester United will be hosted by Atletico Madrid in the UEFA Champions League. Crossing fingers that if Harry Maguire is watching this, please don't disappoint us rather. That's all the time we had for you. Many thanks indeed for staying with us. Vivian Ungeshi has been on the sign language interpretation. My name is Stanley. Nyaringita, have a good night of your choosing.